Okay, thank you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Assistance Center at Suffolk County Community College. Reimagine, Grow Your Business webinar series. Tonight, I will be discussing the capability statement and how to use it to network for procurement. My name is Kenya Harvey, and I'm the MWBE consultant here at the center. The utilization rate for minority and women-owned business enterprises, the MWBEs, participating in state contracts increased to 30.64%, awarding MWBEs 24 billion in state contracts. It's a great number, and it's still growing, right? So how much of that do you want to grow, right? It all starts with getting certified. So once you're certified, what next, right? The next step is to prepare your capability statement, in which I call the business resume. A capability statement is a marketing document, the business resume, that provides a brief synopsis of the business background and capabilities that is given to target New York State agencies or authorities for their upcoming opportunities. This statement should be straightforward and to the point, highlighting the company's area of expertise. The statement should be labeled and not more than one page. And this is another reason why I put it in relation to a personal resume, right? So the focus points in this presentation would be the differentiators, the company data, core competencies, and contact information. Sections of the capability statement. First, we'll jump right into core competencies. In the core competencies section, you will provide a short statement connecting your company's experience to the buyer's needs. In this section, you are to be brief and use short sentences, right? No lengthy paragraphs. Products and services can be listed using bullets, okay? For past performance, you list your top customers that have a similar scope of work of the goods and services the agency is currently seeking, are the ones that you put on this resume or capability statement. You include brief descriptions of the work performed on past work. You can use the dollar amounts for each project, which will just show your capacity to compete for a job, small or big. Be sure to have the client's contact info as well, such as their name, the title, the email, and the number ready if requested by the agency buyer. In the differentiators section, this section is what sets your company apart from your competing vendors, right? Clearly articulate your company's value added and how it distinguishes you from current competition. For example, do you have a competitive edge in pricing? Or do you have quality in your products and services? Does your delivery services promote customer satisfaction? Just a few to think about. Sections of the capabilities statement continued. The next section would be company data. In this section, you will describe your company's business capacity, number of employees, years of business operations, and certification types. Include the industry codes associated with your services. If you want to learn more about the type of industry classification codes or the websites, you can go to the sites below, which are the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing, codes known as the NIGP, which is used to classify vendors, product service codes, PSCs, you have construction codes, the CSIs, and you have your NACIC codes, the North American Industry Classification System, to get this information to put on your capability statement. The last section of the capability statement would be your contact information. In this section, you will list your name, the email, the phone, the website, and all social media that you may have. If you can also include testimonials, awards, and accomplishments in this section as well. Here is a sample statement, capability statement with the sections we just described. So as you can see here, this statement is labeled capability statement, and all capability statements should be labeled, okay, on there. So they should see that it is your capabilities, right? With your logo, right? You show your logo and your contact information with a specific person's name, phone, and email, like just discussed, okay? Use this section title, core competencies, right? The top in the middle. So again, we talked about no long paragraphs. You can use short sentences. You create new documents for each agency. You tailor each capability statement to the mission or the agency's needs. You call this document a capability statement, as we just talked about. Preferably, the capability statement is a one-page, one side, right? You go to two sides only if you need to, right? Save and distribute as a PDF, not a Word doc, not a PowerPoint, or any other format. Keep the file format small, definitely under 1 MB. Use the whole page. Keep page margins small. So, in past performance, in this section here, you list past customers for whom you've done the work for. Prioritize by a related agency to all federal, to other government, to commercial contracts. If the past projects do not relate to the target agency's needs, do not list it, as stated before. Differentiators, which is on the other side, and we all know that that is what sets you apart from your competitors. And last, on the bottom, we have company data and the codes selected for this business's needs. Okay. Another sample. So if you see here, this one here is a logo. You see capability statement label at the top, so all statements must be labeled. It has a brief executive summary here. Oh, go back. There's an executive summary here at the top. Company information, which includes, the contact information, and those basic codes are there. The services provided. We have core competencies, and as you can see here, they are listed by bullet. Also, the services are listed by bullet. Differentiators are listed by bullet. So you don't have to do big, lengthy paragraphs. Bullets will suffice. And on the bottom here, they made space to add more graphics, right? Photos, anything that relates to the business image or branding. The next statement here, these are just a few samples of how the statement actually looks on paper and how these sections are incorporated into the statement, right? It can be depending on your style, right? It could be depending on your colors, your agency colors, your business, the colors of your logo. I truly recommend using color and not black and white. Color brings it out, stands out amongst others. So here you see its label capability statement really big and bold here at the top. The company's logo is also listed at the top. We have business overview, which includes like the DUNS number, their company structure type, and when they were incorporated. So it's a lot of the business information here on this side panel. Contact information on the bottom. You had a list of basic codes here. Also, and then when we move over to the right below the capability statement, there's an executive summary here. Again, it's a paragraph. It summarizes what the agency does or this business does. The core competencies are listed right below that, and as you can see, it's bulleted. Key differentiators are also bulleted, and then the past performance are bulleted. So you can use bullets. Let's stay away from those lengthy paragraphs when forming each section. So you're certified now. What next, right? So you created your capability statement. Now, what do? You network for procurement, right? You search for current opportunities with the New York or on the New York State contract system and the New York State contract reporter. Agency MWBE procurement sites that you can also visit to look up current opportunities would be the MTA, Small New York City Small Business Services, which will be known as Passport. You got Office of General Services, OGS, DASNY, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, just to name a few. Also have sites where opportunities are listed with them. In addition to visiting these sites, you also attend MWBE Procurement networking events. So we have the MWBE Forum that's held in Albany every year. We have PSEG Long Island, it's held in Uniondale, and that's also a yearly event. Stony Brook University Diversity Fair is also an annual event, so that's held every year. So these are few, and we also have regional MWBE conferences that are held as well. So you attend these networking events and promote your services. You give out your capability statement, you give out your business card. You want to let these buyers know who you are and what services you provide, and to keep you in mind for the upcoming opportunity, because you are aware of their needs and you're there to help solve it. New York City Small Business Services. So I talked a little bit about going to the Passport to look up current opportunities. But before you do that, the payee information portal, when applying for certification with New York City, is a place where you would have to register your information in this system. And the payee information portal is a service which allows businesses to be a payee vendor for New York City. On this site, you can manage your account information, view financial transactions with New York City, and so much more. To get started, you click on the Activate button to complete an electronic application. It may take about 20 to 30 minutes to complete. Once the registration is complete, you will receive your FMS vendor number and W-9. This will allow you to receive payments from New York City. Okay, and for the Passport portal, Passport is a procurement and sourcing solution platform. And this link here will take you straight to that portal. Now, applying for New York City MWBE certification, you will need to be registered on both of these portals in order to be certified with this agency. So when you're thinking about completing the addendum or even going into their SBS Connect system to apply for certification, keep in mind that you will need to register with these two sites as well. New York City Small Business Services continue. So I talked a little bit about the SBS Connect previously. So the SBS Connect is where you would go to apply for MWBE certification with New York City. You can have the application fast track if you already have certification with New York State, active certification with New York State. To do so, or to get it more simplified, this application process, you complete the New York City addendum and the New York State MWBE certification application on the New York State contract system. Okay. And the address to the site to where to apply with New York City is located here on the bottom. MTA, MWBE/DBE, and SDVOB opportunities. So any business can compete for any MTA headquarters or agency contract as a prime contractor or subcontractor. It's not dependent upon their certification status. However, if a firm is seeking to perform work on a contract that has mandatory state goals as an MBE or WBE, it must first obtain this certification from Empire State Development. Firms must be certified as an M/WBE or DBE or an SDVOB to do contracting work with the MTA. DBEs must first obtain DBE certification from a certifying partner in the New York State Unified Certification Program. To perform work on a contract as a service-disabled veteran-owned business, you must first obtain certification from the New York State Office of General Services, Division of Service-Disabled Veterans Business Development. And for MBE or WBE certification, we know you would need to go to Empire State Development. Their physical location is here, Division of Minority and Women Business Development, which is at 633 3rd Avenue, New York, New York. You can also, like I said, go to the New York State contract system to start to create a vendor profile and open up a new application. For DBE certification, again, you go to one of these 4 partners. You have Department of Diversity and Civil Rights, which is located at 2 Broadway, 16th floor, New York, New York. For more information, there's a contact name here and an email address. You can reach out to them to get this process started to become a DBE. Also, the New York State Department of Transportation, DOT, has a DBE certification unit, which is located in Albany at 50 Wolf Road, unit, the DBE unit, the 6th floor. Also, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey has its DBE program there. You could also apply, you can visit the website or apply to send an email. Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority also has it. You visit their website or you could send them an email as well. The New York State contract system is a place where you would go to apply for your MWBE certification with New York State. It's also a place where you can go and search the directory for MWBE certified firms and also view bid opportunities below and over $50,000. When searching for these opportunities, you must use keywords relevant to the services that you're providing. Federal contracting opportunities. So now we're going to jump into SAM, the System for Award Management. So in SAM, you would go and apply for your CAGE code. This CAGE code that you apply for will also be listed on your capability statement. It's a must, right? So you must have that there. A CAGE code is a commercial and government entity, which is a 5-character identifier for companies pursuing business with the federal government. The System for Award Management, you can register to do business with the U.S. government. This is new. Apply for unique identifier number instead of using a DUNS number, because before you would have needed a DUNS number in order to apply for this CAGE code, but now they're requesting you have a unique identifier number in order to create, to register an entity. You can also update or renew your entity registration. You can check the status of any entity registration, search for entity registration and exclusion records, and get your CAGE code here. And the address where you can go and apply for your CAGE code is www.sam.gov. Dun & Bradstreet. So this is another number that you'll need to put on your capability statement. The DUNS number is free, right? And it is needed before you can bid on government proposals. So if you have your business that have or business owner that have multiple locations or different businesses, each business must have a separate DUNS number. And to apply for this Dun & Bradstreet number, you would go dnb.com. Networking for procurement. So, you know, you're networking, you're certified, you've created, you're working on setting up a plan for networking to the agency buyers, right? So what you would do is you start by making a list of agencies that you want, or authorities that you want to do business with, right? Get to know what their needs are and how you can solve them, right? Once you do that, you send each buyer your tailored capability statement. So your capability statement is tailored to that agency's need, right? Once you've done your homework to find out what their needs are, okay? Now, once you do that, you know, before sending that capability statement, you may want to give them a call. You may want to maybe send them an email to say, you know, here's my capability statement attached and how you can help solve their need. But you want to do this so that these buyers know that you're out there with these services that will help solve their needs. I'm going to take this time now to see if there are any questions regarding the material that was just presented.
You can unmute or put your questions in the chat.
So, everyone is familiar with what a capability statement is and how to use your capability statement. Okay. Since there are no other questions, I will go back to the presentation. Service disabled veteran-owned business certification. So how can a firm become certified as a SDVOB, right? You would need to contact the Office of General Services. And their information is here on this slide. You can give them a call or even send them an email. If you're a veteran and looking to apply for veteran certification, you should definitely give this division a call or email to get the process started. New York State contract system, we talked about. Okay, so it looks like this presentation is wrapping up. But before we do wrap up the presentation, since there are no questions, I just want to let you guys know about our next webinar in the Reimagine Grow Your Business upcoming webinar series. So we have intellectual property webinar. So there's going to be an attorney here to teach you about how to patent, trademark, or copyright any business idea that you may have. I look forward to seeing you then at that webinar. Jen, is there any way that we could put that link in the chat, the registration link, or no?
Yes, give me one moment while I pull it up.
Okay, great. While Miss Jennifer is actually adding that to the chat. I will take this time out to answer any other questions about the capability statement, or maybe even about the process of looking for opportunities. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
I'll give you a few more moments to grab the link. Okay, I want to thank everyone for coming to the webinar this evening. And again, I look forward to seeing you next week. If you didn't register, please do so. And we'll have a good night.